speculation there will inevitably be.
Of course, there always is in these situations. He's our monarch. We care about his welfare and also the impact that's going to have on, as we were hearing from Sam earlier, politics and daily life. Not only that, the impact it has on the rest of the royals, having someone having to take a step back from duties for a while, for all those reasons. But like I think I was trying to explain before, even if we did have more details about the type of cancer or the stage it's at, it's such a hugely variable disease that depends entirely on the individual. In fact, treatments now are trying to be tailored more to the individual to improve survival rates. So it wouldn't really, we'd still be speculating even then, and it would be largely pointless, I think, and that's something that would be between him and the clinicians looking after him. But I think it's also important to remember, the decision to make this statement and what that says. I think the King, in former roles as a patron of cancer charities, was used to knew of the importance about sharing, of being open about cancer, and that improves survival. And survival has been improving. It's doubled in the last 50 years. Jenny Bond mentioned something interesting about fear. I think that's what used to keep people from talking about it. I think it still does. If you can try to take fear out of the equation, you can talk about it more. It's worth bearing in mind, because survival rates are improving, maybe we don't have to be as afraid. It still is a very serious condition. Some cancers can be very difficult to treat, and some have lower survivabilities than others. But if you take fear out of the picture, you can be more open. I think it's interesting that the King's grandfather, George VI, died of cancer. That was kept completely under wraps. That was something that was not discussed, because at the time, survival rates for cancers were extremely low. Treatment options were hardly available. Yet the world is a very different place now. And the King knows that. He knows that by talking about it, it makes people more likely to think about their own health. And it's important, I think, also to remember, half of us, 50% of the UK population, statistically, will have cancer, or be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lifetime. So that's important to remember. Yeah,
and they make the point very clearly, near the beginning of the statement, in fact, that the schedule of regular treatment began today.
Yes, so they got on this quickly. There are some kinds of cancer which are extremely hard to spot and could be more advanced, but generally speaking, the reason they're more difficult is because they're hard to spot. The fact that during a routine procedure for something unrelated, the enlarged prostate treatment that he went in for, they identified signs of a type of cancer is really, in a way, good news. That means it was spotted before there were any other symptoms, and he's got the best possible start in terms of a treatment. And the earlier you start, the chances of survival are obviously much higher if it's the kind of cancer that can be fatal, which, again, we don't know because we don't know what kind of cancer it is. But also, in general, it means the type of treatment you would need is necessarily less aggressive. So all the more reason that the King can be positive and hopeful that he can be back to his normal public-facing duties as soon as possible.
Yeah, and for a statement that doesn't contain a prognosis, and is quite possibly not able to contain a prognosis, there is this, point of positivity. He remains wholly positive, it says, about his treatment, looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible.
Which I think in the circumstances is the best thing you can be. If you can stay positive about it, you can stay mentally more healthy. It's only going to help how you go through what can sometimes be a big assault on your body and a big challenge, which is undergoing cancer treatment, and anyone who's been through it would tell you that, yeah.